You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the April 12th meeting of the Michigan City Police Civil Service Commission. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, this is the April 12th, 2023 meeting from Michigan City Police Civil Service Commission. We do not have a forum today, a quorum, as the other two commissioners are out. So we won't be voting on anything for this meeting. It should be short and sweet. Just a couple of things to bring up. Before I start, I'd ask everybody to stand up. We'll say Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under old business, we currently have 10 applicants in the hiring process. We have 4 that are going to PERF. They're being scheduled to go down and complete their physical and psychological exam. We also have 6 in background investigations, and we have a lateral transfer in the works who needs to be interviewed by the commission at this time. We have no outstanding claims to pay, and so that's basically it for the commission's portion of this meeting. 90% of it is going to be some award presented by Chief Forker and Chief Cooney and Chief Corley. So I'll hand the floor to Chief Forker.
Again, thank you, sir. We'll just probably right down the business then here. Since we have a quorum. Who's up first? Chief Cooney? We'll be calling up officers individually or as a group here. We'll probably ask you guys to stand here as we go through.
Officer Lewis and Officer Moore. Lewis unavailable?
Yeah, Lewis is unavailable.
These are letters of commendation, and I'll read them. It was on the 11th day of March 2023, letter of commendation for outstanding service as follows. There have been several complaints the past few months regarding the address at 314 South Street and the drug activity of this residence. Most recently, there was an overdose associated with this residence, and a department-wide email was sent from Sergeant Saparsky about issues from the neighbors. Officer Patrick Lewis and Brock Moore spent hours of their time during shift and during street hawk patrols conducting surveillance, developing informants, and conducting traffic stops associated with his address. This led to the stop that occurred on March 11, 2023. Officer Lewis and Moore were working street hawk when Officer Lewis conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle associated with 314 South Street. The driver, Anthony Vigil, was recognized to also be associated with South Street. Following a canine free air sniff, developed probable cause to search the vehicle and reveal a large quantity of contraband. 11.2 grams of heroin, 38 pills containing heroin, 20 THC cartridges, 1.2 grams of marijuana, 20 alprazolam pills, 2 syringes, and 1 handgun. The driver was arrested for dealing cocaine level 2 felony, possession of a firearm by serious violent felon level 4 felony, possession of syringe level 6 felony, possession of controlled substance a misdemeanor, and possession of marijuana a misdemeanor. Officer Patrick Lewis and Officer Brock Moore, your actions during this event were recognized by the commanding staff and are in keeping with the highest standard of the Michigan City Police Department. It gives us great pleasure to present you with this letter of commendation.
Next letter of commendations, Sergeant Mike Ortley, Corporal Matthew Babcock, Officer Steve Weagle and K9 Axel, Officer Greg Williams, and Officer Brock Moore.
That's all I'm saying. Just for Sean. Sean was on.
Letter of commendation, Chief Steve Porter. On Sunday, December 11, 2022, at 0027 hours, officers were dispatched to 724 Washington Street for a robbery that just occurred. The caller, a Domino's delivery driver, reported that he was just robbed at gunpoint at the above address. Explaining the details of the incident include descriptions of the two suspects who were last seen heading towards the Art Space building. As Corporal Babcock tracked with K-9 Officer Wigo and Axel, Officer Greg Williams continued to drive the area looking for the suspects. Officer Moore and Sergeant Mike Oakley, who were both working a violent crime initiative called Street Hawk, were also driving the surrounding areas when Officer Williams requested units at 10th and Spring. As they were headed to this location, Officer Williams advised he located two subjects matching the description of the robbery suspects. When they arrived, they exited their patrol vehicles to approach the two subjects, but the two subjects fled in opposite directions. Officer Williams pursued one subject southbound on Spring Street, while Officer Moore and Sergeant Oakley pursued the other subject northbound on Spring. While pursuing the suspect northbound, a handgun was dropped into the ground in the middle of the road. Officer Moore stopped to retrieve the gun while Sergeant Oakley continued to pursue the suspect on foot. Both suspects were apprehended and transported to the Michigan City Police Department. Corporal Babcock fought outside the box and called the phone number on the caller ID used to order the pizza, which also confirmed the suspect's involvement. This is a great example of the work that's continually done by the officers on Uniform Shift 3, Midnights, and Street Hawk, which led to the quick apprehension of two juveniles for robbery involving a handgun. Each officer involved in this case facilitated a role without question, and dangerous individuals were taken into custody. Sergeant Mike Oakley, Corporal Matthew Babcock, Officer Greg Williams, Officer Steve Wigo, and K-9 Axel, and Officer Brock Moore. Your actions during this event were recognized by the command staff and are in keeping with the highest standards of the Michigan City Police Department. It gives me perfect pleasure to present you with this letter of commendation.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Great job. The next awards will be for exceptional service stars. I'm trying to have Officer Mike Petrie, Officer Mark Raymond, and Dispatcher Abigail McCall. Please come up. I'm going to go through these one kind of individually as they deserve the extra credit here. Exceptional Service Award presented by Chief Steve Porter for exceptional service as follows. In the early morning hours on Friday, February 17, 2023, Michigan City Police units were dispatched to 1504 East Parker Ave in reference to a subject yelling for help. You, along with several other Michigan City police officers, Officer Scott Paul, Officer Anthony Brown, arrived on scene. Officer Petrie attempted to make contact with the male subject, Josh Muhammad. Met with negative results, he made the decision to force entry into the back of the residence. Upon forcing entry, you could still hear Mr. Muhammad calling for help. You were now faced with the task of finding a path through the floor to ceiling clutter inside the residence. You, Officer Paul, and Brown made your way into the bedroom where calls for help were coming from. Having to climb over mounds of clutter, you were in the bedroom where Mr. Muhammad was calling out from. You established communication with Mr. Muhammad, who was hiding under the bed surrounded by piles of clothes and other items. Communication efforts broke down as Mr. Muhammad was in a manic state, thinking that people were shooting at him. Mr. Muhammad then began randomly firing rounds from his 9mm handgun with you in the room. While Officer Paul was calling out shots fired on the radio, you tactically repossessed yourself outside the bedroom behind the brick barrier. You continued to call out to Mr. Muhammad with no avail. You held your ground and called for more resources. You, being a SWAT officer and making the decision to hold your ground, proved to be instrumental in the outcome of this event. Several SWAT officers began to arrive to assist. The decision was made for you to get the armored rescue vehicle and grab the body bumper ballistic shield. SWAT officers, Lieutenant King, Sergeant Krause, Corporal Kennedy, Officer Raymond, and negotiator Officer Chavez began attempting to communicate with Mr. Muhammad. Again, communication efforts were unsuccessful. A path was cleared to gain access to the bedroom where Mr. Muhammad was hiding. You stood at the ready as several clicks were heard from the room where Mr. Muhammad was hiding. This indicated that Mr. Muhammad's pistol was empty. You, Lieutenant King, Officer Raymond, made entry into the bedroom and flipped the bed over and safely took Mr. Muhammad into custody. Without your experience and tactical thinking, it's easy to see how this incident could have turned out differently. You showed restraint and superior decision-making to bring this incident to a safe end. Officer Mike Petrie, for your actions, you were awarded an your actions were exceptional service and are in keeping with the highest standards of the Michigan City Police Department. It is my honor to present you with this exceptional service star. Congratulations. Officer Mark Raymond and Dispatcher Mercaldo. Officer Mark Raymond and Corporal Kennedy were in the 911 dispatch center when they heard Dispatcher Abigail Mercaldo made reference to believing she could hear the caller loading a firearm. Dispatcher Mercaldo's intuition to what she heard was relayed to responding officers and aiding them in putting them in high alert. Officer Raymond, on scene, made mention to officers that he could hear Mr. Muhammad pulling the trigger on the pistol repeatedly, indicating to him that he could make a tactical move to place him into custody. Officer Raymond, Lieutenant King, and Officer Petrie made entry into the room, flipped the bed over, and took Mr. Muhammad into custody. Dispatcher Mercaldo, relaying information of the firearm, aiding in how our officers responded to the scene. No officers or civilians were hurt during this incident, and a huge part of that was due to your listening and communication abilities to keep everyone safe and on high alert. So with that, we congratulate you both on exceptional service awards.
Yeah, nothing right. Oh, yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Just the rest here. That's all. Let's call him this person. I'll just do an individual here from pertaining to a similar or the same incident. We'd like to call it Captain. I'm sorry. Long Beach Chief of Police Mark Swistak. Long Beach Chief Mark Swistak took it upon himself to conduct mutual aid with Michigan City Police Department to assist with this situation. Chief Swistak called family members of Mr. Muhammad to assure officers he was alone in the residence, and even spoke with Mr. Muhammad's father by phone to attempt to assist with resolving the situation. Without hesitation, he assisted the men and women of the Michigan City Police Department and showed great leadership in this stressful situation. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, you gotta hang out out there, bro.
Everybody wants.
Probably not just a bunch.
Thank you.
Corporal Kelly Kennedy. Corporal Kennedy did not hesitate to respond to this call for service, even though his responsibilities were directed towards the Warrants Division that morning. His SWAT leadership proved vital in coordinating efforts in this stressful situation. For this, he will receive a letter of commendation. Thank you, sir. Officer Deshaun Harris. Officer Deshaun Harris was working uniform shift 3 when responding to the call and assisted other SWAT officers who were arriving. Officer Harris assisted with clearing the clutter property out of the way to allow access to the bedroom where Mr. Mohammed was hiding under the bed. This aiding and taking Mr. Mohammed into custody. For your actions, you are awarded a letter of commendation. Thank you, sir. Yes. Officer Paul and Officer Brown. Officer Scott Paul and Officer Anthony Brown. Units could still hear Mr. Mohammed calling for help. Officer Petrie, Officer Paul, and Officer Brown made their way to the bedroom where the calls for help were coming from. Having to climb over mounds of clutter, they were near the bedroom where Mr. Mohammed was calling out for them. Communication efforts broke down as Mr. Mohammed was in a manic state, thinking that people were shooting at him. Mr. Mohammed began to randomly fire off rounds of his 9mm handgun with Officer Petrie in the room. Officer Paul immediately called out shots fired on the radio to notify dispatch and other responding officers. Officer Paul and Officer Brown positioned themselves behind Officer Petrie and the residents. Units held their ground and called for more resources. Holding their ground proved to be instrumental in the outcome of this event. For your efforts, we award you a letter of commendation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's all we got, right? Yeah. I just want to take another moment to congratulate everyone that was awarded today. Your efforts don't go unnoticed. We appreciate everything you continue to do for this community. Without your efforts, in these serious events, who knows what could have happened, right? Guns off the street, drugs off the street, manic state individual, with a loaded handgun. These are significant events, armed robbery. Again, we continually to deal with situations like this. Without the outstanding efforts of you fine men and women, we wouldn't be in this position of having a great department. So again, thank you for all of your efforts. Well, you got anything?
No, just congratulations everybody. Again, thank you for all your efforts. Chief Swissek, again, always a pleasure working with you. And Your leadership that you displayed out there, I got out there towards the end, but pretty much had everything going out for us and had people in place. Our officers that were on scene, Officer Petrie, Corporal Kennedy, Officer Raymond, Officer Harris, Paul, and Brown. You guys did an exceptional job out there. I also got a chance to go in the house. Didn't want to, but I did go in. But I mean, everything was under control when I got there. And the outcome was, to our benefit, also to Ms. Muhammad's benefit. Nobody got hurt. We had to clean ourselves off afterwards, but other than that, I'm saying it couldn't have been any better. I think that it goes to show the professionalism that we have here, not just that, but the training that we go through, and it goes to show that the people that we have here are dedicated to this job and take it serious at moments. I mean, I always tell people it's the moments that you least expected that you will need the stuff that you learn and experience in this profession. It's not always when you're all geared up and have all your bags ready and you have your energy drinks and everything. It's those moments when you least expect it, where we seem to always go back to how we've been trained and what we've learned and who we've encountered and who's put us in position to do things. And it seems to always come out to the outcomes are good. I read the headlines from other departments where things go bad real quick. And I think we've been in situations that could have been bad real quick. We could have been a headline. I guess a headline that was actually true. I mean, we've been headlines. They haven't been what they said, but we could have been those headlines. And I think because of the dedicated people that we have here, and who have committed to stay here, be here, is the reason why we are, and we always come out on top. So again, thank you all for all you do, Dispatcher McCardle. Thank you for your dedication to professional men and women. I know at times dispatching police officers might have our little quirks back and forth, but at the end of the day, everybody's a big family, and big brother and little sister always make up and make sure that the family taken care of and that we get business done. So again, thank you, and thank all your rest of your coworkers who are here to support you. But thank you all for your service too.
I need to start going first, so I have something to say. Congratulations, everyone. Exceptional job. I will reiterate that I think the work between outside agencies, not just the police, but also the dispatchers, even the firemen, it's a team effort, and we have to continue to do that. We rely on each other. We are not going to hesitate to help Long Beach, or even if dispatchers need something, we're going to help them as well. So keeping that relationship up is very important to us as an administration. And again, I think putting these events in a meeting, public meeting, giving out awards is good, not only for recognizing the officers, but also the public can now see some of the things that maybe they don't hear on a daily basis and how hard everyone is working. So again, congratulations and keep up the hard work.
Probably just want to add one more thing. We still currently are hiring. We are accepting applications and lateral transfers for police officers. We will be holding a testing date on May 20th at 8 a.m. If you have any questions, you can refer to our webpage, joinmcpd.com. So again, that's just joinmcpd.com. All the details are there. Or you can reach out to us at 219-874-3221. So again, we are hiring. So I want to thank the commission for their continued efforts throughout this year. So to get us hopefully to full staff. So thank you for that.
As far as the rest of the meeting goes, the Division of Professional Standards, Lieutenant Westfall, is predisposed at the moment, so we won't have any reports from him. Council liaison isn't present.
I would say that just a quick update. We have 5 officers at the NILEO right now, 6 that are on pace to graduate April 28th. So we're looking forward to them. That's a good group. We're looking forward to them getting cut loose here by June. So we're excited for their graduation here at the end of the month.
And as far as the council comments or the commission's comments go, I'd like to congratulate everybody today who received an award. I'm not into singling people out, but I'm gonna single a couple people out. Chief Marshal Swistek, I'm sure your leadership out there was appreciated. You have a lot of experience in this profession and a lot of leadership experience, and I'm sure you were invaluable. And I would like to say thank you for the mutual aid. I know that every officer that's ever worked for your department has always been involved with incidents that occurred when they were able to. And I'll also mention Chief Marshal Steve Dick from Trail Creek Police Department, because their agency as well does the same thing whenever they can. Prior to the meeting, Chief Forker handed me a recommendation to have probationary officer and lateral transfer Charles Davis removed from probationary status and promoted to first-class patrolman. Obviously, I haven't discussed this with the other commissioners because they're not present, but I do want to point out the importance of this lateral transfer program. I want to congratulate this administration for working so hard towards that, and the previous administration for getting it on the agenda with the last contract and getting this put in place. It's proven to be very helpful. And with that, I will say that although he wasn't our official first lateral transfer, Mr. Davis was, Brockmore couldn't be considered any more of a lateral transfer than he is. He came here from another department specifically because he loves his profession, and the agency that he worked at wasn't providing him with the action that he wanted. So with that said, there's not been any officer in any of our meetings more in the last year than Officer Brockmore to receive awards. And I'd like to say thank you and welcome, and we appreciate everything you do. And I hope it continues. So unless there's any public comment from anyone, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you.